Echo and HarperAudio present A Body Made of Glass, A History of Hypochondria by Caroline Crampton. This is the author. For Guy, the cure to my ailments. The rhythms of this ritual are deeply ingrained. Lean forward, closer to the mirror, bracing hips against the sink. Old bruises accepting the hard angles. One hand to pull my shirt away from my left collarbone, the other to poke and prod the shadow I saw there. It's very bright in the deserted bathroom at work. The overhead strip lighting bounces off the walls, the tiled floor, the gleaming white of the sink and toilet. In the mirror, the room behind me is blanched out of sight. All that is in focus is my own pale face and pinpricked pupils. Blotchy redness is rising out of my collar and climbing up my throat. Turning my head slightly, I avoid catching my own eye in the reflection. My gaze drops to the 2 square inches of skin on my neck to the left of my Adam's apple. This is the part of my body that most often flares into quivering sensation, and thus the part I know best. I could reconstruct it perfectly through touch alone, my fingertips following the baseline of the long-healed scar that snakes along parallel with my collarbone and the squashy dips between the tendons running down my neck. But now I want to see it, to scrutinize it as if through a microscope. I know the pattern. On bad days when I'm tired and slow and the quick-fire crosstalk of my colleagues washes against my ears like jagged waves of sound, I will turn my head to avoid someone's gaze and feel it. The sensation of something soft and yet hard at the same time catching on the usually smooth mechanism of my pivoting neck. A feeling at once horribly familiar and completely alien. It's like going downstairs in the dark and miscounting so that your foot connects suddenly with the floor when it was expecting to keep on passing downward through the clear air to another step. A sudden jolt and an electric pulse ripping through the stomach. An intruder is detected. I know the pattern but can still be stuck in it. I'm pretending to sit at my desk and type normally, but I'm actually listening to the roar of panic in my ears while conducting a fierce argument with myself. It keeps revolving, a sing-song, meaningless wrangle. You know it's not real, but this time it might be real. The outcome is always the same. I always end up here, in front of this mirror, staring at this glassy, reflected version of me, quietly weeping and poking myself in the neck hard enough to leave marks. What my questing fingers are looking for is evidence of a lump. A bulge of flesh that shouldn't be pushing its way out of my neck and yet somehow is. Except I can't put it that clearly in my own mind. All there is inside my head as I search is blistering static and a dogged whisper of, it can't be, it can't be. Tumours have a certain texture, I've learned. A hard kernel moored deep inside with a slippery casing that can move over muscle and under skin. When I found one in this part of my neck before, nearly a decade ago, I could roll it between my fingers. It danced across the sinews as I moved my head. It made a clicking sound I could hear with my tongue. While I'm still poking and staring, my brain wakes up and thoughts start to accelerate away from me. If there really is something growing in my neck, all the images in my mind are fairy tale malevolence, poisonous yet invisible roses creeping through my flesh to bind my life with their thorny tangles. My existence will be forever changed by it. I will have to deliver the bad news to my husband, my parents, my sister, my friends, navigate the peculiarly modern dilemma of deciding how much of a highly personal tragedy to share with strangers on the internet, give up my work once I can no longer reliably put words on a screen, manage with less money, yet somehow pay someone else to walk my dog when I'm too weak to do it. Does anyone know the password for my computer? And if not, how will they get into my email after I'm dead? I haven't.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?